Hi guys, so let's start today's trade analysis from yesterday's trade. So that trade was from 31st of May. We'll start by going on the daily. As you guys can see, we tapped into that daily order block right there. So previously when we were around in this range, I said I was targeting this daily order block because it didn't respect this fair value gap. So when it doesn't respect the daily fair value gap, the next point that I want to look for is just that daily order block. So since it tapped the daily order block, I thought, the objective for the week is pretty much done, so it can start retracing. For me, my thought process was it can retrace. So since it's on an uptrend, right? It's on an uptrend, it's retracing to go into a daily order block and then just continue upwards, because technically we didn't really get like a break of a low from any lows from here. We just had made a new low and sort of broke a little bit below it. But yeah, so basically we got that tap into that daily order block and we're heading back up. And we also have this higher time frame SMT right here. So that's how you can kind of see, I think it's these two, 24th of May to 30th of May. So like this higher time frame SMT. Yeah, so around 23rd, 24th of May to 30th of May. That's that higher time frame SMT that we got. So showing that, it's time we go up. So that's how I have that long bias from these 2 days. Now going down to the 4 hour, we can see that we started going up straight after we hit this. So that trade that I took yesterday was actually more confirmed than the trade that I took on Thursday. So we already got 4-hour fair value gaps being formed here and here. So during yesterday, it just hit that one. So that was the one that I was looking at. So I marked it out 4-hour fair value gap right there. And with this fair value gap, it's smaller than this one. But with this move upwards, we actually sort of already disrespected this fair value gap. As you guys can see, there's this bearish one, but we already disrespected it. So that's why I was more bullish, because even though it was going down, you could see it as like going down like this, retracing upwards to continue downwards, but we disrespected this fair value gap. So that's why I was a bit more bullish than I was bearish, because of the SMT, that daily order block, and creating this. Now going down to the 1 hour, as you guys can see, we'll just start from the Asian session and stuff. This trade we didn't actually sweep Asian session, and I still took it because usually I have this one of my flaws is just that I really need to see some sort of sweep of the Asian session higher lows before I get into a trade, and that's what I've kind of identified. So yesterday I actually didn't wait for that sweep, and we actually didn't even get that sweep. And the reason why I didn't care about the sweep was just because we had another sell side liquidity here that was swept, and also because we had SMT. So that's why. And also because, so we got that 4-hour fair value gap, that's number 1. We have a 1-hour order block right here, that's number 2, that we actually just perfectly respected, because this is the full order block, right? So we just perfectly respected right there. It didn't really close below, or even if it did, it's by like a little bit only. So pretty much respected a bullish 1-hour order block, 4-hour respected. And then going down to the 5-minute, we have this lower time frame SMT right here forming, and then we also have some sort of liquidity that's swept before we go up. Right after 2, I just wait for it to sweep some sort of liquidity and form some sort of SMT and create some sort of fair value gap. So we swept this liquidity right here after 2, right? So this is just showing you guys that it's after 2. And then you guys can see as well on GU, we got SMT as well. So I'll show you guys this trade as well later. It's here, how you could have called this trade as well. So SMT here, you guys can see from here to here, EU went up. You can just see the colors to see the time is that, we got the SMT. So basically we formed a higher time frame SMT to confirm our bullish bias, and we also form a lower time frame SMT to confirm our entry. So that's our lower time frame SMT, that's our sell side swept right there. So with that, I'm just going to look for a 1 minute fair value gap entry. So going down, because the liquidity is so much smaller, so I'm only going to be expecting like smaller fair value gaps forming. We got this 1 minute fair value gap right here. As soon as we formed it, I entered because the risk to reward was fine. So with that 1 minute, the risk to reward, if I just put the stops at the low and I just target that Asian session high, it's a 1 to 4. So I'm just going to enter as soon as it breaks structure. I don't need it to retrace into the fair value gap, but it did retrace anyways, and we ended up creating another 1 minute and respecting it. So here So basically that was my entry. It's just that first 1 minute, and we already broke structure upwards anyways. As you guys can see with this fair value gap, we already broke past the low of the high. So we already got 1 minute break of structure and a 1 minute fair value gap. So that's how I entered. And then my targets was just this high, that Asian session high, but actually I could have targeted this high as well, but it was a 1 to 4, so I'm just not going to be too greedy about it. But I still watched it play out. So this high was just this high here, which is what I marked out as the draw on liquidity. As you guys can see, it was my main draw on liquidity yesterday. So the reason why it was my main draw on liquidity was just on the 4 hour, it was the 4 hour high. And if you go to internal range with liquidity, you're going to see external next. So that's my next. So it's just like that. We're creating like structure now, that bullish structure now. So that's why. And also it was the previous day's high. So if we close very strongly bullish like that, I would expect it to take out the previous day's high because of this very strong bullish candle. So that's why I came up with that draw on liquidity. And that's how I came up with this whole trade. I feel like, yeah, it was a pretty somewhat straightforward trade when you're thinking very clearly and you're able to sort of lay out all the confluences. Now let's go over to GU. I actually wasn't really analyzing exactly what happened on GU, but I just saw that SMT right there. I didn't actually take this trade, but I'm just going to show you guys how this trade is something maybe some of you guys could have taken if you guys were trading GU, but I'm not too sure because I don't trade GU anymore right now. So anyways, we got that SMT. We swept liquidity here and here. And I don't know if there's a higher time frame POI that we went into. We got into this very tiny fair value gap right here. I don't even know if there's a gap, but we already disrespected this, so that's why I don't really like trading GU. But you could have just entered for a very small position because this risk to reward is so big and it's so nice. You could have just targeted that Asian session high, and there's a 5 minute fair value gap, so it's even better than a 1 minute. So this fair value gap right here is where you could have entered, was a potential trade. But again, I wouldn't really worry too much about it because I don't trade GU right now. I just look at GU for SMT. This is the only thing that I mark out. So it's just the SMT that I was looking at to confirm my EU trade. We went through pretty much the how to go over the bias, how to get the entry, and how to set targets, and how to find the draw on liquidity. So I hope this short little video helped you guys in terms of my trading process. And if you guys like these kind of videos, then like it and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.